Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do your final project, and I've already created the content. So if we look in this folder on my desktop, Final Proj 1050, we'll see that I have two files that were created as reports in Microsoft Access, and then exported, one exported in HTML, the other exported in a PDF file format. Okay, so we did this last week, and there's an example of the HTML file, and there's an example of the PDF file. Okay, so as you recall, the HTML file is one that can be edited very easily and is certainly suitable for posting on the internet. The PDF file is one that is very suitable for sending to a printer and having printed copies of the report made, and it too can be posted on the internet and hyperlinked to other pages, and that's what I'll end up showing you here in this example. Now I've created two other HTML files, one called index, one called index2. And without going into tremendous detail, again, this is not a web programming class, so I'm trying to keep it as brief as possible, but most websites allow you to set default names for web pages that we want to allow a user to have easy access to. And it is fairly customary to make the home page of a website either name it index or name it default. So since this is going to serve as my home page, I have a page called index.html, and if I open it up in a browser, you see that there is a silver background. You see that there's some other formatting here, some centering of text. I've used a table up here, 2 rows, 2 columns in this table to store data, and I have inserted a picture down here. Okay, so there's my index.html page, and I have another page, same content, but there's no formatting. Okay, so in index, in the page titled index, there are cascading style sheet rules that are controlling the appearance, the formatting of the content. And in this page, it is just strictly the HTML. So if I right click on the open window and view source, the browser will show me the content. You can see it's pretty stripped down. It's just HTML. And if I again open this page and attempt to view source, I'm going to see a lot of other stuff. I see in the head section some HTML rules, and I see in the tags down here class attributes that call up those HTML rules. So that's the difference between just creating the content and then creating the content and formatting it. Now, for your purposes in this final project, you can do it either way. I'm not going to count off if you go into Notepad or some other text editor and simply type the HTML. Okay, that's one way to do it. It's not going to be as attractive, and actually it's going to be a lot harder to write, I think, in Notepad, but that's your call. I suggest that you download Expression Web, watch the video that I have made available, and generate the HTML using an HTML generator. But again, it'll be your call. So what do I want to have happen? I'm going to go back to this formatted page. Oops, wrong one. I'm going to go back to this formatted page, and what I want to do is create a hyperlink here and a hyperlink here. Okay, and actually I'm going to go in and change the content here a little bit, I think, because originally I was going to have two different reports, one that used an inner join, a second that used an outer join. But when I went into Microsoft Access, I got lazy and just created one query, generated one report, and then exported the report the first time in PDF file format, and turned right around and exported the same report in HTML format. So my reports are exactly the same except two different file formats. But I'm going to create a hyperlink on this text and hyperlink to the PDF file. I'm going to create a hyperlink on this text and hyperlink to the HTML file. So I'll be hyperlinking to this PDF file from this page, and I'll be hyperlinking to this web page again from this web page here. Now hopefully that makes sense. All right, so, and then I'm also going to insert a picture into the index page. Show you how I did that. Okay, so let me now create these hyperlinks. All right, so I've created from Access these two files. I've taken a picture with a camera, a digital camera. I've stored that picture file away, and for now I'll just delete this, and you decide whether you want to use CSS with your HTML or just straight HTML. For me, I'm going to use this web page. I'm going to open with Expression Web. And I'm going to look at it in the designer window, and I'm going to highlight this text and associate it with a an href attribute in an A tag, in an anchor tag. All right, so how do I do that? Well, I could again go in and create the A tag with the href attribute, or I can simply in the designer window highlight the text. This is the one that's going to link to the PDF file, and go to the insert option up here. There's probably a tool for this too, but there it is. There's a hyperlink tool, so I can get to it from this pull down menu, or I can get to it from this tool. Either one works. And if I do this in Expression Web, as soon as I select that text and click the tool, it's going to generate a dialog box that provides me a window into the file system. And now I can make sure I'm opening the correct folder. So desktop final project 1050, that's the correct folder, and I see all the files that I can potentially link to, and I'm going to link to the PDF file with a double click here. And then if I look at this hyperlink, I'll highlight the text. It's not real noticeable there, but what it's created inside of the table, okay, on the second column of the first row, it has created an A tag with an href attribute that's hyperlinking me to that file. Okay, so I had shown previously how to create hyperlinks, and all I'm doing now is just using some other things in combination. So you've seen how tables work previously, and now I'm just creating a hyperlink within a row of a table. Alright, so I'm going to leave that text there just for a second for you to see, and then I'll move back to the designer window and highlight this text, and again hyperlink. This time I'm going to hyperlink to the HTML file. if necessary, I need to navigate through the folders in my file system, get to the folder where the target file is, employee.html in this case, and then say OK to that and create a second hyperlink. And again, if I highlight the text and go to the code window, I see that it's created a second A tag. That's the first one. Here's the second one, again with an href attribute that this time is going to hyperlink me to a file, employee.html. So I've got two hyperlinks in there. Now going back to the designer window, how did I create this? I created this by using the insert picture option, insert picture from file. That'll open a window into the file system. Again, you can navigate to wherever the picture is stored and then double click on the picture and it will insert the picture into the web page. Now when I did this, this was a picture taken with my iPhone. The orientation was wrong. It was rotated 90 degrees to the left. I looked like I was laying down, and I had to then open the file in a graphics editor. I used Paint, and I changed the orientation. There's a way that in Paint that you can rotate the picture, so just rotate it right 90 degrees or whichever direction you need to go. And then also in Paint you can scale it, and the picture that I inserted was a high definition picture that was way oversized, so I scaled it down to 25% of its original size. Okay, so at that point then I was able to correct the orientation and size it so that it was suitable for the page and save the picture. And I did all that again using Microsoft Paint, which you all are probably familiar with. It's a standard app that comes with Microsoft Windows. Okay, so when I inserted the picture, then if we look at the code window, it generated a image tag, and I actually did this using a different editor than Expression Web, and that editor was insistent upon not following the HTML5 standards, because the image tag is a singular tag, and it kept trying to put the space slash characters at the end of the image tag. So that image tag in HTML5 format should be written in that syntax. So I've created the page, or the link to the picture, and in HTML5, to be fully HTML compliant, HTML5 compliant with an image tag, it also requires an alt attribute. So in the event that the picture doesn't load, there will be a place marker on the page where the picture is supposed to be, and then whatever text would you provided. So in this case it would say Humphrey car ride home. If you are using specialty software for people with vision problems, so that the software can read the web page, then obviously pictures are of no value, but the software would be designed to read the alt attribute. So whoever's visually impaired that's reading the content of the page would pick up on the fact that that is Humphrey, my dog, coming home. Alright, there's my web page. I've created the hyperlinks, done a lot of the editing in Expression Web, and I'm ready to save this page, and then I'm going to start at what will be the beginning page. Okay, and if I either double click or right click and choose my browser, okay, so whether I use Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, doesn't really matter so much. It should render that web page in the same format that's described through the CSS rules. Okay, so HTML5 and CSS are standard languages that all browsers support, and so it's going to render, regardless of which browser I use, it's going to render this page the way I intend it, and I'll have a hyperlink to my PDF file. Voila, PDF file. And I'll have a hyperlink to my HTML file, which happens to be, if I view page source, a page with a lot of tables in it. Okay. And you'll notice that this code is pretty ugly too. Instead of using CSS, this is using an old style of HTML, and it's coding everything not with CSS but with tag attributes. So every line, you know, it has to build all this detail in, and it makes for much more difficult code to have to maintain. Alright, so there's what your final project should look like. A home page, a link to the access report that you created last week in PDF format, a link to the access report that you created last week in HTML format, and I want you to indicate who's submitting this, your name there, and it would be interesting, if you don't mind sharing, seeing what you look like. So that's me, this guy, and that's my dog. And we're just about done here, so the last thing I want to show you is how to get this to me. Now, in previous projects, when we worked with spreadsheets and even database file, we were submitting single files, individual files to the assignment folders. This time around, we've got, in this case, 4 files to turn in. So how are we going to deal with that? I need to have you zip them. Okay, I think the assignment folder will accept zip files, compressed files, and so if you put everything in a common folder, the way I've demonstrated here, and then go to File Explorer. If you're using Windows 10, this is the process. If you're not using Windows 10, if you're using a previous version of Windows, then you can just Google for how do I zip files in, if you're using, you know, some other version of Windows, specify the version of Windows, and you should get all the help you need from a Google search. But if you're using Windows 10, it's going to simply be a matter of going to File Explorer from the Start menu. Okay, so choose File Explorer from the Start menu. And then in File Explorer, you'll need to navigate to wherever your folder is. So you'll have a folder again with all, you know, all of your files in it. So in my case, it's on the desktop, and the folder is called Proj1050. And if I right-click and choose the Send To option, where is that? Open. Why am I not seeing it? Let me try that again. Okay, so here it is. If I choose, there it is, Send To option. So I right-click, Send To, and then choose Compressed Zip Folder. You choose that option, then it'll create the zip folder, and that's what you should be able to submit to the assignment folder on Canvas. Alright, that will do it, and hopefully the requirements for the project are clear. This is the final week, the final project. You'll be doing this project and also taking a test, and that will wrap everything up. So I appreciate your hanging in there and completing the course, and I wish you the very best.